Hey YouTube family, welcome back to the Survival Homesteady channel. And homesteady means we always want to be steady and keep things steady going. So I have another cool tip for you today, something I've heard of before and I'm sure many of you may know, but I've got a good idea and I did some research on it. So today's topic is Mylar blankets. Mylar blankets. And I'm going to give you some emergency and everyday uses because Mylar blankets are very good for warmth, but they're also good for reflecting heat at the same time. I remember when Mylar balloons came out quite a few years ago, I think when I was in high school or junior high, and that's when the balloons started. But now it has evolved into blankets, it has evolved into so many different things. But I have a Mylar blanket here, and I had actually got this, I think, at Walmart, but it is from a company called Kemp USA. So I'm going to show it to you. It is 80 inches long and 56 inches wide. So I've got a little bit of some tips here for you on different uses for Mylar blankets, just to kind of touch on a couple. How it works is the vacuum metallized material reflects your body's radiant heat back to you. It's waterproof and windproof to protect against rain, snow, or harsh drafts. Typically, you can carry this and fold it down. This was actually folded. I had to take it out of this little bag. You can fold it and carry it pretty much in any backpack, purse, probably a pocket if it's small enough. And it folds down to the size of a deck of cards weighing 1 to 2 ounces. The cost is very affordable, usually retailing between $1 and $15 depending on the size and pack or quantity. So I know a lot of it's used also in EMS and fire rescue and things like that. My son is a firefighter paramedic and he works in an ER now, but he has done many of these calls. So I have a piece of it, or I have the whole thing here, but it has two sides. If you notice, it has kind of a brighter side, and it has, there's the brighter side, and it has a slightly muted, less silvery bright side. It is kind of see-through, but it's enough for privacy. So what I'm going to show you, besides using it as a blanket, what you would do to stay warm is you would put it around you. You can sit, like if you're outside and you're cold, or you're in the wilderness, or maybe just camping out and you get really cold. So in the summertime, what you want to do with this, how many of you are trying to keep your power bills low? I know right now I have the AC running because I'm hot nature, but I also have some equipment in here I want to keep cool. And it's important to keep your electronics cool because some of them can get too hot. Just the same as like leaving your phone out in your car in the heat of the day. I know yesterday or day before it was like 100 degrees here in Florida, 110. So for your home or your apartment, your RV in the summertime, you're going to measure your windows that allow sunlight in and heat. I mean, there's cracks too that come through your door as well. But once you get your measurements, you can kind of go in, like this is 80 inches long, 56 inches wide, and you can kind of see how many packs of these you need to get to cover your windows. So in the summertime, what you want to do is take the brighter side, or the more reflective side, because these are also, I read, made in some of the NASA technology for like reflecting the moon and the sun and things like that. But you take the brighter side and you basically just put it up in your windows after you measure. So you're going to use tape, some type of really good quality duct tape to hold it up there. I would also recommend, and I do this when I put up Christmas lights, is I wipe out the window sills, but I wipe everything around and I use alcohol to kind of dry it so there's no like oils or residue, you know, maybe from previous tenants, or when they come in to spray for bugs, a lot of that has oils in it because oils is basically what they use to suffocate the bugs. So you're going to put, in the summertime, you're going to put the brighter side towards the window, like facing out towards the sun. This way it's reflecting the sun off of your windows and out of your buildings to keep it cooler. And you might have new babies that you want to keep cool. Now, when it turns wintertime and you need more heat in your house, again, the goal here is for privacy, but it's also to keep your electric bills down, which will help you have more money for food, prepping, whatever you want to do. Another way to keep your home steady. So in the wintertime, you're going to take this brighter side and you're going to take it off. You can either take it off or just go get you some new ones. You're going to tape it up and you're going to have the brighter side facing inside and the more muted side facing out, because that brighter side is going to be pulling the heat in, which will create more heat inside your house or your apartment, whatever. And this piece is extremely long. You can see where it was folded up neatly in that little package, so they do come folded up. Let's talk about, so we did summer and winter. So it's what this is made of. It's thermal material used in space exploration. It reflects 90% of body heat. So you can use it as a blanket if you're cold. Now, if you put these in a sleeping bag, it could make condensation in your sleeping bag from your sweat. So these are good for people who are really cold outside and you're camping and you need some more heat around the fire. You can also put it up in your tent. Let's just say you're camping, you're bugging out, or maybe you're in the middle of a hurricane or a bad storm and you can't totally get away. Well, you can put these up not only around the insides of your tent to keep the rain out, but you can lay them on the bottom. Of course, you're not going to be in a tent in the middle of the woods in a hurricane, but let's just say you get caught in a bad storm and you got to get home. Well, at least you can keep some of the rain out until it stops raining. These can also be used to lay on the floor of your tent, and then you can put blankets over them to keep the moisture from the ground from coming up and wetting you. Because when I was growing up, we didn't always have tents. We made our own. We called them lean-tos, but we made the most amazing camping little huts. It was so much fun. So they are good for that. Make sure that you check for little tears. When it's hanging in the windows, make sure you check to see if there's little tears and it might be cracking or starting to slip. You want to keep that up, and this keeps your power bill down. Where can you buy these? You can buy them at, like I said, Walmart, Dollar Tree, hunting or camping stores like Bass Pro Shops, any of your favorite. I would think Dick's Sporting Goods might have them. Amazon, any online stores like this one. And I'm pretty sure I bought this at Walmart because I went to their camping section. Walmart has a camping section that you can get Mylar blankets from. And this is Kemp USA, KEMPUSA.com, if you want to go on their website and check out their things. I've had this for a while, but I've been wanting to share it with you all on the Survival Homesteading channel. Just had a lot of busy projects going on, but I wanted to come on and say hi and share this with you. How about your front door? I have a front door that at the very bottom, sometimes when you're renting apartments or you buy a house, it's supposed to be inspected, but sometimes you might still have a little crack at the bottom. You can always get an extra long or an extra wide piece of Mylar blanket and tape it to the top, and then hang it on the bottom like when you're inside, especially during a rainstorm, and tape it all around to kind of block those little cracks. And also that's how bugs get in, that's how mice can get in, that's how roaches, caterpillars. Check for little cracks around your house and see if you have any opening to the outside. You could always cut these in pieces, like I said, to fit the sizes of your windows. But let's just say you have a little skylight in your house. Well, you can cut this down and just measure around the squares. And again, put the brighter side facing outside and then tape it up, and that'll reflect the heat to go back. When it's wintertime or it's really cold, take the brighter side, turn it in towards the house, retape it, and that should draw more heat in. You can use them in your cars too. Let's just say, you've got new babies. I know they make things for cars, but sometimes when I know there's people that I'm going to touch on who boondock, they're camping in their cars or living in their cars. You can buy these inexpensive Mylar blankets and use them to cover your windows for safety, for security, for temperature regulation. If it's cold, you can wrap up in a Mylar blanket. Again, if you turn the brighter side around you like you're wrapping up like a blanket, it's going to pull the heat in to make you warmer. If you just need it for rain protection, then turn the brighter side out and then just have the muted side with the sun, and it'll still give you some warmth. A couple of suggestions that have come to me, and one I know from experience, you can also use, and I'm going to just touch on this and do another video on it, is heated fleece warmers. If it's really cold or you have a cancer patient in your family or your life, I know from past personal experience, sometimes when they're battling that, you know, the blood cells start getting compromised and they start getting colder. Well, you can get them a heated fleece warmer. You can get those on Amazon for like massage tables, and they can lay on that. And you can also put them in blankets or put a Mylar blanket between them and another blanket. There's just ways to either be hot or cool, but the main reason here today is to save money on your power bill, because we know right now everything's a little high, so we're trying to save money, right? Let's see. So the emergency uses would be for, like I said, a bad storm. It could be for sickness. It could be if you need to leave your home suddenly and you don't, let's just say you don't have AC in your car. Maybe your AC's broken. Maybe your heater's broken. A Mylar blanket will be a good fill-in that you could wrap up in your coat, or just wrap around while you're sitting in the car if you're waiting in traffic. Now, the only downside, of course, I would think is the noise it makes. It crinkles, you know, you can hear it. But it's worth it. You can also wrap your pets in it if your pets are cold. You know, yes, we have blankets, yes, we have animal coats and things like that, but it's always good to have extra Mylar blankets on hand, because you never know what's going to happen or what you're going to need. So again, for the summertime, turn the brighter side of the Mylar blanket towards the window and tape it up. Cover your windows. Even go down a little bit into like the windowsill, because, you know, heat and rays come in from even the bottom. Sometimes they're also reflecting off of people's cars, their hoods, their windows. That is one of my biggest things. If I'm behind somebody and the window, their light comes off of their car and hits me in the eye, I have to go around because I'm really sensitive to bright lights. Brighter side goes out for coolness for summertime. Or if you're wanting to cool somebody who's got a high fever. My son told me the other night they had someone come in, and he said they had been to a concert at a local stadium where he lives, and they brought that boy in. He was probably about 20, 21 years old, 22, and he said, Mom, he had a temperature of 108 degrees. He said it was an anal temperature, not under the arm and not in the mouth. So that means your body's really hot. That's why they take temperatures for babies anally too, because it could be two different temperatures, and usually the one down there is kind of closer to the truth, or it's more accurate. You know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just going by things I've studied and things I've heard and things he's told me. But he said what they did was, actually they put this boy in a body bag because it's so insulated to keep fluids from escaping. I'm gonna leave that there. But he said they poured ice in that body bag all over him, and then they filled it up with water, so he was laying there in an ice bath. So these can be used to bring a body temperature down some. Maybe not completely, but this is more for warmth. But I'll do another video on heat and temperatures and things like that. But this is just a good survival, everyday skill to keep your home steady, to keep your body steady, and to take care of your family with. So my encouragement to you is go out to Walmart or Dollar Tree or Target, or look online, Amazon, and find Mylar blankets, and just keep a bunch on hand. They could always be good to give away as gifts, you know, like people who get married in the summertime, or they're going to the beach and you just want to give them that. You could lay out in the sun and put this over your head. Put the brighter side towards the sun and it'll reflect the sun off. They can be used and made for so many different things. Go to Walmart, Amazon. They're usually about $1. Sometimes you can find them on sale too for $1. I encourage everyone to keep a bunch of these on hand, because you never know if you're going to need them, or you might need help in an emergency situation. So have a good day. Keep prepping, keep stocking, keep praying, and rotate your stocks. Make sure, just like at a grocery store, I used to work at a grocery store, always check your expiration dates. Keep pulling forward the older ones and consume those first. And I'll see you in the next survival homesteady video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.